essentially, what that means is that space and time are not necessarily in reality, but that they are...
Now that means they are not necessarily in reality? It seems actually to mean that they comprise reality. That's what reality is the things that occur in space and time. And his conclusion is that they aren't necessarily in reality. There's some reality, and that space and time are what? Where the frick are they, Zorio?
Somewhere in our...
somewhere in our minds.
Mind, because we cannot even imagine without them.
Because we can't imagine without them. So they're somewhere in our mind, but they're not in reality. Right?
To see out the other side. How did Kant see out the other side? Good question. He never answers.
You can't. You just can't. There is no other side. This other side that you're presenting as the noumenal world, again, is strictly a possibility and not an actual thing. It isn't some mystical, magical world of Narnia that Kant goes to get all the answers. It's the possibility that there is something that we do not experience, and that is that we don't experience things as they are, because our mind makes things coherent in this way. The noumenal...
Now, if we don't experience things as they are, if our mind makes them coherent, couldn't we say our mind filters the stuff coming into it? Or couldn't we say that reality is not attainable by us, it is out of our reach, and what we experience is a delusion, because our mind is shaping reality to make it sensible to us, but it's not the real reality? Couldn't we call that a delusion? Couldn't we say we live in a constant delusion if that were the case? Because after all, it's the only world we can ever get to with our senses. So the other world doesn't really exist in any real sense. But this world is an imperfect distortion of the real world. So we're just seeing the real world some fuzzy way. That's the nominal world. Now, are you getting how much you have to keep in the air and keep juggling? You have to hold all these contradictory views all the time, like a hippopotamus belly dancing and juggling. You have to keep holding contradictory views constantly. And eventually, if you buy into all of it and accept the fact of the feeling coming from faith and the categorical imperative and accept it all, then you'll be totally convinced.